Peace and blessings. Welcome to the space. You are tapping into another week's episode of Sunday Stacks. I'm Shemekka Ebony.
And I'm Michael Stewart-Isaacs. What's going on, everybody?
We are so happy to have you joining us for this week, whereas every other week we are stacking up wins in the areas of family, community, and company. And we want to make sure that we can give you tools, lived experience, expertise, and great ideas on how to stack your family and community company week for week. And we are here on a live podcast network. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have not downloaded the Alive Podcast app, make sure you do that today. And when you do that, you can also subscribe to Sunday Stacks. So if you want to catch up on former episodes, if this is your first time here, know that you can always tap in on sundaystacks.com and catch up. And definitely leave comments and reflections on things that you hear that illuminate stuff in you. We keep the conversations going week for week, as we always do. Welcome to the space.
Yes, excited. Happy to be here, and glad that we're gonna have another week of just celebrating how things are stacking up.
Yeah, each week we have this segment called How's It Stacking when we kind of lift up what we've been doing week for week to just kind of give you insights on how we're planning ahead and what we've done thus far each week. So, how's it stacking for you this week, Mike?
I'm so glad you asked because I only have one word for the audience. Kinderpalooza. Yes,
Yes.
Kinderpalooza. Yes. This week has been
Okay.
stacking up for me well in the area of family. Had the opportunity to take our youngest son of our brilliant bunch, who was in pre-K, and he had his first kindergarten, as they call it, Kinderpalooza celebration extravaganza. So
Yes.
it was amazing, a great opportunity to see all the schools in our local area, get a sense of some of the newer technologies and curriculums that they're looking to bring forth, and allow them to get a little chance to show us as parents some of the things our children might be experiencing at their schools. So it was a great experiencing. My sons, they had an opportunity to get activities. They were doing STEM-based activities where they were able to play with robotics and different technologies. And I live in a small town, a small county area. So to be in a space that is considered rural or a small town area, to see that our county and our area has so much cool, unique technology for the
Absolutely.
kids, for the next generation. It's absolutely amazing to see that there's more in store. So I'm excited for my children as they got a chance to explore this area.
It's a chance for parents to investigate too. So you get to hear real time from teachers that are present that you get to ask questions about. If there's certain things that you want to make sure are prioritized in your child's learning, then being able to introduce yourself personally as a parent is a good tip to step away from when you think about how you can prepare for kindergarten. So wherever you find yourself, events like this or open houses are good things to show up at because you get to really see what kind of environment your child is in and what kind of connectedness he may have with the teachers.
I love that. And I think the good thing we always focus on is anytime we do any event, because we're focused on FCC, because we're entrepreneurial as a family, we always make sure that we take over rooms. I don't care if it's a business networking event or a Kinderpalooza experience. We're able to go around and have quality conversations to talk about the work that we're doing with I Am Brilliant, the Brilliant Bunch, and our boys. They were able to shoot a little videos for their Brilliant Bunch series they have on YouTube where we kind of chronicle a lot of their development as young people, some of the activities and fun events, some of the places we go travel to. So definitely check out the Brilliant
Mhm.
Bunch if you hadn't had a chance. Again, as always, shout out to Max and Chi for what they do in terms of just being young community leaders, growing, something that their brothers and sisters grew up doing, and now they get a chance to grow up and continue to give back. And just happy to watch their development and just be more involved in community and still find ways to find entrepreneurial growth by networking in genuine ways with our community and our family.
I love it. So this week for me, it was really
So now let me say, how is it stacking for you, Shemekka?
I'm so glad you asked. This week for me was really special because I was able to invest some time and energy into a being a keynote for a Women of Purpose Summit that happened, and it was the first of the year kickoff convening for this group of amazing, powerful, passionate, loving, and joyful, down to earth women that all love God. And the theme of it was I made a mistake. Now what? So my now what that I manifested and talked about yesterday is really tapping into the revelation that You didn't just make a mistake. You had an opportunity to learn from that mistake, and we got to really study the times we fall so that we don't find ourselves falling again. And so, what do? We walked right on through while I'm getting naked, and we really talked about getting naked after the mistake so that you can make sure that you can create better practices to not find yourself falling in these same areas in the same ways that you may identify that you've fallen before.
That's good stuff. So, what did you feel like your group got out of it?
From what I heard, a lot of them were able to see themselves. I really did get naked in talking with them. We connected scripture, stories, as well as the book in ways that helped them see that though they may have heard in the beginning a whole bunch of accolades in my bio and successes and really awesome things that I was doing, I wanted to make sure that they knew the human essence of who I was and that I had struggled being a single parent, and I had experienced hardship of being a spouse of an incarcerated co-parent to being a minister in service and bleeding while having to lead. So I was able to step into all aspects of my lived experience and expertise to meet this intergenerational group exactly where they are or where they're going to be going or how to put up those guardrails to make them better versions of themselves when they find themselves in these pits that would distract us and make you feel bad. It was getting rid of the self-condemnation and building upon better promises that we are the representation of God on earth. So we got to stay focused in getting an opportunity to be the light in our life and believing and having faith that we have everything we need inside of us. And so self condemnation does not have space to block us from where we're supposed to be.
I love that. That is amazing. I didn't know those women were able to be enriched by your wisdom. And, I was able to come in at the end and see some of what you all, and that room was just singing your praises.
It
So
was a sellout
it
crowd.
was a sellout crowd. And I mean, you deserve it. But not only that, they deserve to hear the message you
Thank
shared
you, God.
because people do need to understand that vulnerability is our ticket to our greater opportunity. Once we're able to not let those things be our weaknesses, but we find strength in the places where we were most vulnerable, then we really find what the epitome of strength means and how to start to wield it to our greater growth and opportunity. So hats off to you and kudos. And I'm just again happy to celebrate you and the ladies in what you all are doing. And as always, make sure you check out our platforms, whether it's Sunday Stacks Podcast or Shemekka, Ebony on Instagram. You can see some images and photos so you can kind of catch up with some of what we were able to accomplish and capture. We caught them in the eye and brilliant photo as well as shouting out the While I'm Getting Naked books. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, I appreciate this new community I was able to be a part of and experience and everything that I learned listening to their expectations and what they were in pursuit of, and believing God that they grabbed and grasped and held on to what they needed. And thinking about that, it got me even more excited about the opportunities that we get to gather with people this year on our tour, having these intimate settings like this to really build intentional relationships with people that you may not have known or want to get to know more. And we have that next opportunity coming up on February 15th at Top Golf. We're doing a Rise and Shine brunch. We're going to have
Rise and
music,
shine.
joy. It's February 15th, so you know we're going to get in with the soul and jamming and really having a good time. And we're going to put our swing game on and see who has the best swing. So if you haven't made any plans for Valentine's, consider that. If you're doing a Galentine's, consider this. February 15th, Rise and Shine Brunch on a Saturday morning, starting at 10, and we're going to be kicking off it with the tea time at 11:30.
That's gonna be amazing. I look forward to it. I'm gonna work on my golf swing as well too, so I can get it together. So y'all better be ready to enjoy yourself. Be ready to just have good gathering, enjoy some good food, some good music, good people, and really, really set off 2025 in the right way in good company and people that want to grow in FCC mindset, family, community, and company. So definitely. What
Absolutely.
else? What else you got going on, Shemek? I know you always got a few more things to announce for the world.
So I just want to lift up in light of what we'll get down more attention to probably in the Wiz of the Week. I wanted to lift up to any of our partners or listeners that are impacted by the rising changes in DEI programming and leadership and teaching. I want you to know that we got a spot for you. I started these DEI convenings last year because I saw what was the potential was coming, just to create a safe space where we could build capacity around what's next, how you build your career, how do you shift career in this case, how do you be empowered in a place that may not respect or value your position because of what's happening. politically and economically across communities. And so, starting February 19th, we'll be launching our 2025 DEI Leaders Group. So, that's sponsored by Forum. It's a virtual space that we're going to be able to get together and build and grow. So, if you're looking for somewhere to kind of have that safe space, check in. Look, the first month's on me. So, definitely go ahead and check out your tickets. You can find tickets at Shemekka.com. You can also find it on Calendly.com/Shemekka and secure your seat with those links. And we want to make sure that we're there for you for as much as you've been there for everyone else in your organization or company.
Awesome, awesome. So, what we got going on today? What we talking about with the audience?
Ooh, so today's Soulful Sunday segment. Oh, this is so good. I wanted to lift this as something for us to be able to reflect on and think about and kind of see who we are in this. But our Soulful Sunday topic is I am an influencer.
Ooh, that sounds juicy.
Is juicy because I think how much of God's light that we all have in us. And too often we've been dimming our light to follow what the crowd says or what the next trend is. And we haven't been allowing our steps to be ordered by our greater purpose. But when we break down influencer, it is not just minimized on social media numbers, which I don't know how that happened because this hasn't even been around for that many years. But somehow the number of followers you have on social media is what tells people that you are an influencer. What it doesn't tell is whether you are a good influencer or a bad influencer. And so I bring into this Soulful Sunday space that we have a moment of self reflection to see what our actions and behaviors are influencing in other people. What is our behavior and actions influencing in our home? What are our children seeing and growing from? What are you influencing for the next generation? Not only the legacy of your family, but also in community. What are you influencing in your country? What are you influencing in your community? What are you influencing in your company? So this is the thing that's going to be self-reflective today to really tap into I am an influencer, and what am I influencing? So, Michael, let me ask you, do you self-identify as an influencer? And if so, what are you influencing?
I love that. I love the question. And I think when we first were discussing some of the topics we can touch on, this really hit me really heavy because influencer is such a popular term that gets used in the era. And I went ahead and just went straight to a Google based definition and said an influencer is a person who builds an online following and uses their content to influence others, right? So
Is that Wikipedia?
that's a basic AI version
Oh,
definition, right?
okay, I got you. Of course, they knew too. I got to be taught, y'all.
Right, but I think about influence, it gets into people who are creatives or creators on some levels, or people who are popular is the word we would say popular at one point, and those people then have influence to make people do things. I always say our world has been kind of transformed into a big version of high school, right? We have seniors, juniors, sophomores, and freshmen, and
Right,
every few
right.
cycles we go through who's above the other person based on these types of
The
criteria.
cool
The
kids.
cool kids. There you go, cool kids. I think that's a good way to think about it. And essentially, I think the phenomenon would have always been here, but I just think it's gotten exasperated with social media. And now you can be popular for different things, right? You don't necessarily have to be someone who's got the latest fashion trends or popular basketball. You could just be someone who's making certain sounds, and that can be something that you find an audience for. We have our young kids out here doing different STEM programs and different things they're trying to find influence behind. I believe we've been influencers in what we've done with stewarding the word brilliant. I feel like in the last 10 years since we started I Am Brilliant
You better say
and the
that.
work we've been doing, I believe that not only have families, communities, and companies been able to see the light in themselves and find their brilliance, I believe the word has just been used more due
Absolutely.
to the influence that we've had in I Am Brilliant, hashtag I Am Brilliant. So look up the work for those who may not know who's behind Sunday Stacks. Shout out to the influencers. Me and Shemekka have been on this journey for years with I Am Brilliant, just bringing positivity when no one asked us to, right? But we went out here anyway and just wanted to brighten up people's day and give them the sense that they can be the change that we're looking for. So being an influencer is just about waking up every day, being determined and consistent with an idea or a feeling or a belief, and you're on fire or just passionate about getting it across to other people. And, sometimes it could be positive things like going vegan or, checking your health. And sometimes it could be things that could be excessive, like overly wearing makeup or doing something, right? But at the same time, some people just have that natural cool factor, the way they've approached it, the way they shot something, the way they've done something makes you want to do it. And I just think influential culture is not going anywhere. Now, what do we do with it to get people in the space and the zones that we're building? And that's why we keep creating great content.
I love it. So if you self-identify as an influencer, this Soulful Sunday self-reflection hopefully will help you be able to answer the question, how are you influencing culture in the times that we have ahead? What are you projecting with your influence that could transform lives, not just get you a paycheck?
I love that. Definitely with influence culture, make sure that you are out here trying your best to give people a better sense of self. And I think anything that is an influence culture leads to community. That's what I've heard as a popular concept. That the best influence are those who don't just build followers, they're building communities of like
Mm-hmm.
minded people that are growing. So, with that said, Shemekka was bringing it up. We're going to transition into the Whiz of the Week. Yes, the Whiz of the Week. And so many topics we have to talk about and outline. Shemekka was talking about some amazing things that she was doing in the world of DEI because it's needed right now. Because guess what? Donald Trump is after DEI. Yes, DEI programs have been removed from the federal government. We have celebrities that are selling out. Are they celebrities selling out? Are they shifting their position on Donald Trump? And we also have deportation going on all around the U.S., right? Deportation situations, people in their jobs, place of work are finding ICE agents just ready to take them down and take down their officers. Shemekka, have you been paying attention to the Wizards of the Week? And what is it that we can do to ward off some of these Wizards of the Week? And I know you've made some suggestions early in the conversation, but definitely let's talk through some of these things.
Yeah, I think it's this these coming weeks since the inauguration are going to be very sensitive to people's emotions. I've seen a lot of people get emotionally frustrated, people are mad, people are sad, people are depressed, and some of it is informed by things that are not fully true or you don't have all of the information. So I would say before you expend a lot of energy being mad, because it does take a lot of energy to be mad, especially being mad about stuff that you can't change as quickly as you may want. So, what we can do with these Wizards of the Week is kind of target how we can channel our energy in ways that the power is in our hands and what we can do to get more involved. And that maybe taking some time to unplug, stop getting filled with bad news. Even when you're down, it seems like more bad news comes. And you think about it, if you're a person that is personally impacted by seeing your celebrity heroes put in position of where you feel like it's selling out because they performed, and then also being hit that DEI programs are being lost, whether you've ever held a DEI position or not, or whether you feel like somehow you were experiencing imposter syndrome and you were identified or self-identified as a DEI hire. This stuff is hitting you very different. And if you're also impacted by marginalized communities that are now being targeted for deportation, these things are very sensitive. I've had scholars that have had to cancel because they have just their emotions have been so charged by the intersectionality of how all of these things, even in this whiz by itself, we're only talking about three things that's happening, but there's so much going on. I just want to encourage you to do your research if you feel some type of way, but also put some guardrails around your anger so that you don't wear this pain in your body because we need you here for the long game, even after these next 4 years.
I love that. I love that. And I think the best thing we can always do is just be aware that there are always going to be information in a new news cycle. But what we try to do is help you create what we call the filter. And the filter is very simple: FCC,
Family,
family, community,
community,
and
and
company.
company.
When you're making thoughts or decisions that are going to have great impact, you want to make sure you first filter it through: how will my family see me after this decision? How will my community see me after this thought or decision? How would my company see me, whether I own it or whether I work for it? And I think the more we can do that, the more we can know how to navigate these
Mhm.
whizzes that are looking to take us emotionally everywhere, as they say, emotional roller coasters. Well, we need to learn how to make sure we can be ready for the ride, and we've also taken the proper precautions before someone tries to take us on that roller coaster ride.
Yes.
So we definitely enjoyed that, and we always like to just share this wisdom with you and take it to our main topic about being an influencer. Are you going to be influenced by the whizzes of the world, or are you going to start being influential? Because I know there's a lot coming down the political pipeline. There's a lot of presidential executive orders, a lot of things that happen in our state levels. We just need to be vigilant. We need to be mindful, and we need to be active in those three areas: family, community, company. If you're doing those things right, then you'll make sure, as I always tell my kids, do it right, do it like, do it wrong, do it long. So that means
Oh, that's
essentially, if you really want to see change in your world, do something. Don't wait and complain about other people not doing something. Just voting alone was not enough. Now it's time to figure out, even if the person you voted for didn't win, now there's someone in the position that you voted against them, but still hold them accountable. Be ready and vigilant to do what you need to do as a citizen. And if you do that right, you truly will find that brilliance that'll help you get past these wizards.
I want to tap this too because I think it's important to lift this. I've heard this being a buzzword this week too. It just probably end up making it next week with what's coming out of it. But people are saying the most vile, rudest, disrespectful things and hiding under the First Amendment rights. So think about that when you're engaging in public. People are looking to incite negativity out of being able to freely say what they want. So remember to hold your mind, hold your temper, hold your responses or your reactions that you don't find yourself getting in trouble and getting all emotionally involved in something that someone was just trying to do to trigger you like a bully.
That's funny, and I just thought about a unique joke, right? They have the First Amendment, which is the freedom of speech, the freedom to assemble, those types of ideas, and then and the freedom to a religion. Then you have the Second Amendment, which is the right to bear arms. They need a First and a Half Amendment, which is the right to punch somebody in the face without going to jail for what they might have said, right? Instead of having to shoot you, can I just punch you in your face? And we can call that the First and a Half Amendment. No, I'm just being silly. But but this is the world we live in, right? You can go from saying you think you can say whatever you want to the Second Amendment, which is I have the right to have a weapon. So be careful what you say, and that's kind of how it's funny, like our government and our constitution is set up in that way. You can say what you want, but the next amendment is I can bear arms. So let's think about what we're saying, how we're saying, and how it will make people feel. Not everything you say will always be popular. Some things have to be said because there are people in this world that are hurting. And if they
Mhm.
weren't hurting, they wouldn't be saying anything. And I think that's the part that we really got to open up our ears to listen and be wise. So, we can always go on forever here at Sunday Stacks. We know we enjoy being with you all here again on the
Mhm.
live podcast network. Any of y'all tuning in on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe. We need that support. We need to know that Sunday Stacks is growing to the next level. And we appreciate you all for always checking us out and giving us a chance. But definitely leave comments. We like for you to get into the conversation. Help us set up new topics for the future episodes based on
Absolutely.
these. Remember, I am an influencer. So remember that. And let's see where we can grow from there while we continue to grow. Any other things we need to talk through, Shemekka? Any cleanup items?
Yes, make sure you tap into the Live Podcast Network. If you want to join us in person for our Sunday Sex Live Rise and Shine Brunch, make sure you get your tickets for February 15th. We have a great special going on with the tickets, so don't get left behind. And if you are a business and want to attend, definitely consider getting a sponsor package because for a little bit more, you can sponsor your business and come and have fun.
That'd be awesome. That's awesome, awesome. So, as we always love to be here with you longer, we just have to wrap up this episode. So, Shemekka, I thank you so much for giving us so much wisdom. I feel like I am an influencer and I hope to be a better one.
Thank
And
you. Thank you.
yes, yes, yes. And thank you for the work that you're doing in community. It's always grateful. The work you're doing with our children, I'm always grateful. So, as a husband, I just want to take this time to just respect and acknowledge.
Thank you.
I see you. I see the hard work you're doing as a mother. I see the hard work you're doing as a business leader and just impacting communities. So hats off to you, and I appreciate you. And as we wrap up, we always like to remind our audience that I
I
am
am
brilliant
brilliant and
and
you
you
are
are too.
too.
Thank you again for joining us for this edition of Sunday Stacks. We will see you next week.